Okay, everybody, this is the lesson 3.6b chain rule for trig functions. These are all the derivatives of trig functions that you should have written down. If you want to write them down again, you can. We're going to be using the U substitution method on trig functions. And there's two types of U substitution method. I've already pre-written all these notes, so if you need to pause it at any time, feel free to do so. But the first type is when U is next to the trig function. So, for example, you see y equals sine of 2x, not sine of x, not this, sine of 2x. That is your U. So we're going to call U 2x, and we're going to take a derivative just like we did yesterday. The derivative of 2x is 2. Now we're going to do exactly what we did yesterday. We have to substitute in. We're going to replace the U, y equals sine U. And then we're going to take the derivative of sine of U. So if I look up here, derivative of sine x is cosine x. So the derivative of sine U would just be cosine U. But don't forget to attach the chain. And now replace your u's again. So this would be the cosine of 2x times 2. Now I need you to be very careful here. That 2 cannot be multiplied to that 2x. This is the cosine of 2x. So what we normally do is we put that 2 in the front. So this would be 2 cosine 2x. That is the derivative. Let's try that again. All right, so my second problem, y equals cosine x squared minus 1. So once again, this is your U. Take a derivative, 2x. Rewrite that part with a U, so cosine U. Now that we've rewritten it, we're having issues this morning. Take the derivative. The derivative of cosine is negative sine. So this would be negative sine U, but attach the chain. So what would that look like with our replacing? It would be negative sine of x squared minus 1 times 2x. And again, don't think that you're allowed to multiply those. You're not. This is the sine of x squared minus 1. This is what goes together. You cannot distribute into that. You just stick that 2x in front. So your final answer is negative 2x sine of x squared minus 1. All right, two more. Y equals tan of x over 2. So my U is, I'm going to rewrite that as 1/2 x because I like it written with the coefficient in front. The derivative is 1/2. Rewrite this with my U, tan U. Go up here. What's the derivative of tan? Secant squared. So I would write secant squared U times the chain. Now replace. So secant squared 1/2 x times the chain of 1/2, and again, put that in the front. So 1/2 secant squared x over 2, or 1/2 x. That is your derivative. Let's do one more of these when the U is next to the trig function. One more. 2 cosine 3x squared. So again, this becomes my U. The derivative is 6x. Rewrite this as 2 cosine U. The derivative of cosine, back to the front, is negative sine. So it would just be, again, that's just a constant. It will stay when we take a derivative. So it'll be negative 2 sine U times the chain. Or negative 2 sine of 3x squared times 6x. And again, that 6x is not allowed to be with that 3x squared because it's next to the sign, but it is allowed to be with the negative 2. So a better way of writing this would be negative 12x sine 3x squared. Okay, now to get a little bit more complicated, when the u is the entire trig function. So when the u is the entire trig function, it'll look something like this. So you'll see y equals sine cube of x, or you'll see a power fourth next to the cosine, or you'll see it under a square root. So if I were to rewrite this, this would be sine x entire function cubed. That's what sine cubed x is. Remember that from pre-calc last year. So again, this inside the parenthesis is your u. So your u is the entire trig function sine x. Your chain then would be the derivative of sine x, which is cosine x. So now, when I go to rewrite this with my u substitution, this is actually just u cubed. Y is u cubed. And when I take a derivative, 3u squared times the chain. And now I replace. So 3 sine x squared cosine x, or 3 sine squared x cosine x. Either way is fine with me. All right, let's try another one. Cosine to the fourth of 2x, or another way to write that would be cosine 2x all to the power of 4. So my u is cosine 2x. Uh-oh, be careful here. There's a u within a u. Do you notice that? What would the derivative of this be? Well, we just did something similar to that on the other side. Sine 2x. Remember? We had to take a derivative of a derivative. The sine 2x became 2 cosine 2x. So the derivative of cosine 2x is actually sine, of 2x times this derivative 2. I know this is very tricky, but what you're doing is you're doing a derivative within a derivative. Okay, so here's your u, cosine 2x. If I said to you, just take the derivative of this, you would call that u, and you would also have you would have an extra u prime. And you would write it out like that. Okay, double check. But now that I've gotten my u and my u prime, I would rewrite this as u to the fourth. And when I take a derivative, I would get 4u cubed times the chain, which would be 4, my u is cosine 2x to the third power, times the chain, which was 2 sine 2x. Now, I would probably put that 2 with the 4. I can move that 3 next to the cosine. So cosine cube 2x and then sine 2x. Very hard. If you need to go over that question again, please do so, but that's it. Whenever you see a 2x, or we're going to do it here, 4t, we have a chain within a chain. All right, 2 more problems. So what's my u here? This would be my u, sine of 4t. So if I were to rewrite this, this would be the square root of u, or u to the 1/2. What would be the chain of sine 4t? What would be the chain? It would be cosine 4t. And now that I'm realizing something, I forgot a negative up here. Whoop, boom. Because the derivative of cosine is negative. back to this one, sorry. But it's not just cosine 4t. It's also the derivative, the chain of 4t, which is 4. So put a little 4 in front. All right, now take the derivative of just your u. That would be 1/2 u to the negative 1/2 times the chain. And now replace. 1/2 sine of 4t to the negative 1/2 times 4 cosine 4t. Now let's clean this up. The 1/2 and the 4 is 2, so that'll be on top. The cosine 4t is also on top, but this goes to the bottom to become positive. Sine of 4t to the 1/2 power, or you could put square root of it. But that is your answer for that one. Again, if you need to go back at these and look at them, you need to see that there is a double, almost like a double derivative, what's called a nested derivative. All right, one more problem. X squared cosine to the 4th x. This is going to lead us into what we're doing tomorrow. So notice something. This would be rewritten as x squared cosine x to the 4th. So my u is cosine x. My derivative is negative sine x. Not hard. Let me go rewrite this. X squared u to the 4th. What am I going to have to do here? Product rule. This is what we're going to be working on tomorrow. This is a product. So let's take a derivative. Watch. First times derivative of the second, 4u to the 3rd times the chain. That's the derivative of the second. First times derivative of the second plus second times derivative of the first, which is 2x. Now, why am I not attaching a chain here? Because that's not in u. This was the u substitution. Okay, this is just x squared. Now you're going to replace your u and your u prime. So x squared, 4, my u cubed was cosine cubed x times the chain, which was negative sine x. I'll clean that up in a minute. Plus u to the 4th, so cosine to the 4th x times 2x. Now, I don't like the way this looks. I want anything that is a monomial that doesn't have a cosine or a sine next to it in the front, meaning, see this x squared with this 4 with that negative. Negative 4x squared. Then put your cosine cubed x and your sine x. You see this 2x? It's not allowed to be with that x. So then put plus 2x in the front, cosine to the 4th x. That is what we'll be doing in our next lesson. By the way, this is question number 234 for homework. You're welcome. Here's your homework. Go back through this video if you need to, and I will definitely explain all of these again tomorrow, which is a review day. Bye, guys. Have a good day.